As a kid, the only time I ever really got to lay hands on anything Nintendo besides my Game Boy Advance SP was when I got to play Smash Melee at my local McDonald's in that play place area. What's it called? Every single time it was my turn to play, I played as Link. I had never played a Zelda game, and I wouldn't for about another 10 years. And yet when I went out to play in the backyard, alone, since I was only child, I ran around with a plastic Excalibur from Disney on Ice and a little makeshift shield made out of like the home base plate of a T-ball set. And I distinctly remember holding the sword in my left hand, even though I'm right-handed, because Link is one of the most memorable video game heroes I've ever seen. By college, I was a huge Zelda fan. I used to carry around a Zelda wallet that I got worn down and broken and didn't even resemble Zelda anymore, but I still carried it. Then Breath of the Wild was released, and I thought it was the greatest game I had ever played. The game returned to the truly dangerous and mysterious world that the first game set up that none of the other games had ever really emulated. Best of all, we got the most badass incarnation of our hero to date, which is saying something because there's like 20 of them. And so I stepped up for the first time since I was 10, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna become Link in real life. Yeah, I really said that. You know what? Did a pretty good job. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Noah, but you can call me Neat, and here are 5 ways that you can become Link from The Legend of Zelda in real life. Really, I came up with like 6 ways, so please stick to the end for a bonus tip. Now, the only stipulation is that these are all things I've done myself. So while learning to ride a horse is probably something appropriate for this list, I didn't include it because I've never ridden a horse in my life. Number 1 is archery. Link is always shown to be master of the bow and arrow, even in the 8-bit titles. I joined an archery class when I was a senior in college because I was a senior in college. I had a bunch of credit hours left over that I needed to fill, so I joined an archery class and a theater class. You can sign up for an archery class at your local community college or university, or you can look around in your location for an archery store that will sell you a cheap bow and usually will provide some sort of shooting range for you as well. I got a C on my archery final, but I figure 70% accuracy is probably better than I do in the game, so I consider it a win. Number 2 is rock climbing. New to Breath of the Wild is the ability to climb anything. Link has the grip strength of a really strongly gripped guy, and that means Nintendo gave us the power to put Skyrim horse mountain climbers to shame by letting us scale anything we wanted with Link's bare hands. Now, I do not condone climbing anywhere that's unsafe, so my recommendation is to visit your local rock wall. Now, my university had a rock wall built into our gym. While it was no Death Mountain, I got pretty fast at climbing that sun gun, with the help of a pretty good coach, of course. If you live in a big city, there's probably a rock wall complex or two near you. If you live in a more rural area, maybe you can look for some trails to hike up a mountain or something. Whatever you do, be safe, and be sure to take a selfie at the top and tweet it at me. Number 3 is cooking like an absolute madman. I still really could not cook to save my life, but I've learned something pretty awesome from Breath of the Wild, and that's if you throw a bunch of good tasting stuff together, it still usually tastes pretty good. I picked up a copper pan like this one, which you can get pretty cheap at some aftermarket or surplus stores, and I learned how to make Gordon Ramsay scrambled eggs. Which basically just means you cook scrambled eggs really well. The best part comes at the end. You open your fridge and you just grab whatever meats and cheeses and veggies you can find, you just throw them in there. My favorite is to grab turkey, pepperoni, jalapenos, and shredded cheese and throw it all in right as the eggs are starting to finish cooking, and then I throw it all on a piece of toast. That is bitching. Number 4 is learning an instrument. The one way Breath of the Wild's Link fell short is that he didn't have as much musical talent as his ancestors did. Learning an instrument really puts you in that Ocarina of Time mindset. Now this one's kind of cheating because I've actually been playing saxophone for about half my life. But it's never too late to learn an instrument. You can pick up some pretty cheap instruments on Amazon, and they're gonna sound terrible, but if it's any consolation, you're pretty much going to sound terrible no matter what instrument you play on. But in the early stages of learning an instrument, you make leaps and bounds of progress every single practice session. And the dedication you need to stick with playing an instrument is going to build your discipline dramatically. I personally recommend learning the piano. It teaches you more about music theory than I think really any other instrument. But you can also just order a cheap ocarina if you want. Number 5 is learning medieval combat training. Yeah, you heard me right. If Link is anything, he's a master swordsman. So we gotta learn how to use a sword. There just so happens to be an organization called the Society of Creative Anachronism, or the SCA for short. The SCA's goal is to keep the arts and culture of medieval times alive by bringing those crafts into the modern day. What people tend to really care about, though, is when we dress up in armor and hit each other with sticks. You wear plenty of protection and you use a sword that's made to break before it breaks you, and you actually get to learn safety techniques that they used in the Middle Ages to practice fight. But the best part is, you get to hit people with a stick. I don't want to sell the SCA short, and there's a lot to go into with it, so maybe I'll make another video some other time, but just know that it's probably one of the coolest organizations I've ever been a part of. And finally, the bonus, number 6, be a hero. Above all, Link is a hero, and he carries himself like one. Curious boy wanders into the castle and sees his uncle murdered, and he picks up his uncle's sword and he keeps fighting. This is probably the most important tip on this list. The internet has brought society closer together than ever before, but has also given us the ability to bring the injustices of the world to the eyes of the public. Now more than ever, people our age have an incredible power to shape the future. And as we all know, great power comes with great responsibility. So carry the conviction that you're going to make sure that the world is a better place when you leave it. Because taking that responsibility feeds the power you have over your own life and over the world you're going to leave for the next generation. So be wiser, more courageous, and more responsible than you were yesterday. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like, or maybe even dropping a subscription for more. If you like me, or want to complain directly, you can reach me on my Discord, or live on my Twitch stream. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, usually at 7:30 p.m. CDT, though we usually start earlier on Saturdays. And right now, we're streaming Breath of the Wild in Master Mode, and I'm getting my ass kicked. But into next week, we'll be streaming Link's Awakening for Switch to round out our Zelda marathon. I'll see you there. There's another one down here! Oh, for f***'s sake! When does it end? I just want your money! Oh my god!